Hey YouTube, it's Taki with TaqiTech. Thank you for watching. We're at episode 20 here. We're going to talk about determining what to print. Now that we've kind of been able to kind of run where we're at on the project, and we've been able to load both the tasks and the breaks into their appropriate arrays, now we need to determine what we're going to print when we look at our Model 6 here. How do we get this 8:48 here, and then this 10 a.m. here, and this 11 a.m. here, and this 12 p.m. there? How do we know that this 11 a.m. is correlated with this, and that this break right here, this 30-minute break, is correlated here? How do we figure all that out? One of the things I forgot to mention in the last episode was that all the task times and all the break times together should equal 480. And 480 is also, when we look at our time here, when we look at 6 a.m. to 2:42 p.m., subtracting the breaks, that's 8 hours. And, 8 by 60 is 480. So the time worked also equals the total task times, which also equals the total break times. So those two equal out, and that's going to help us a little bit with our code. So let me jump in here and kind of pause this for a second as I make this a little bit bigger so that you'll be able to view it. Okay, so here we are with our subroutine, and basically I have, right now I just want to focus on 5 different variables here. We have our iBreak, which is basically the counter for the breaks array. iTask is the counter for the tasks array. Minutes to print. That holds the actual amount of either the task or the break that will eventually be sent out to print and go onto that line. The minute counter actually holds the minutes worked. So that's that 480. And the start time, that's our way to say, okay, so now we're going to take this break time or this task time, and we're going to add it to 10 a.m. or 11 a.m. or 12 a.m., so on and so forth. Let's jump into the code here. So the code here, we start off by selecting the actual worksheet. We want to make sure that we're looking at the appropriate sheet here because we have quite a few sheets. And then basically, I have some code here, right here. It's called clearing the range. But in all reality, this is going to be its own subroutine. It's going to be a little bit more complex, unfortunately, than just clearing out the range. And we'll talk about that in future episodes. And then we get our very first start time, which is in cell F2, and that's 6 a.m. So we know we're going to start with 6 a.m. and we're going to take the minutes that are in that very first task time, because I kind of already, when we look back here, looking at the real code here, we look here, we see that 168 minutes is less than 240 minutes. So we know we're going to start with a task, and we're going to take that 168 minutes and add them on to 6 a.m. So what that gets you, let me see here, so that's 2 hours and 48 minutes. That will get us our 8:48 a.m. Okay, so let me get back here to our code. Alright, so I just want to make the font just a little bit bigger for you guys. Just a second. Let me actually do this. And let's get this. So basically what we have here is we have a do until loop. And basically it's saying do until that 480 is now equal to 0. And basically each time we're going to go through this loop, we're going to subtract either the break time or the task time from that 480. And then eventually there's going to be no time left, and that's when we're going to exit the loop. Once we're in the loop, we're going to say, okay, what are we looking at here? Are we looking at a break time, or are we looking at a task time? So this is going to say if the break time is greater than the task time, then we're going to do these instructions, and if else, then we're going to do these instructions. So here we go here, but just a second, I'm just going to pause the video real quick. Okay, so when we look at the very first part, so we say, okay, now we're going to say the task time is less than a break. We're going to take that break and we're going to subtract the task time from the break. That way we're also countering that 480 minutes within the breaks. And then basically we're going to say, okay, this is the minutes that we're going to print. So in this case, it would have been 168 if I remember correctly. And then basically this is when we decrease what our loop is on. So we basically just take that 168 minutes off of that 480. And then basically I just set it to 0. There's ways we're going to destroy the arrays, and we'll talk about that in future episodes. But just for now, I'm just going to mark it as 0 so I know that I've already been in there, been on that element of the array, and I have already looked at it and done what I needed to do with it. And then we just increase the element of the array. So we start at 0, now we're at 1, so it'll be a different amount the next time it loops. Same thing here, pretty much the same thing when we talk about our breaks. So here's a break, and first thing we're going to do is we're going to take that task that's currently bigger than the break time. The minutes that are left for that break are less than the task time. So we subtract that break from that task. We say we're going to print out whatever minutes were left in that break. We subtract that break time from the 480, and again set that element of the array to 0, and then increase the element of the array right here. And then we would keep going through it. We'd only do one of these instructions each time we go through the loop, and eventually both arrays have all 0 values, and that's telling me that everything is basically working. That it's 480, it's working, and it's exited the loop, and there were no errors. So let's go ahead and let's just run through the code real quick here. Now when you actually see the code here, it may look a little bit different. Let me put my watches on here. So let me see. We have so we're going to do task periods. Watch there. Okay, and we want to look at all procedures. Yep. And then breaks, time periods. Let's add a watch to that, so we can see as we go through here. Starting with the main. Oh, let me do this real quick here. So actually put this in the print part, the print module, because eventually we're going to be printing, and this is kind of routing what we're printing, so to speak. We just put the, actually I want to put the stop here. Okay, so we go back to main so we can load both our breaks and our task arrays. Okay, so now they're loaded here. It's always simple when you have a one-dimensional array, because you can see the values right there. And when it's a two-dimensional array, then it becomes a little bit more complicated, because you actually have to click that extra plus sign to see the values there. And I'm not sure how well they're coming out for you guys on YouTube. I'm sorry, I don't have, it's hard enough for me to record these, and it would take too long to edit and make them bigger and things like that. Sorry. Okay, so let's start going through this here. So right now we're looking at 240 for the break and 168 for the task. Next up, we're looking at 72 left for the break, 72 minutes left for that break, 102 for the task. So this time we're going to, so we should see here our 0 element of the task is gone. That's 0 now, right there. We're going to watch this 72 disappear now. Now that 72 is gone. Okay. And we know the code's working because it's going back and forth like it should. Now we're looking at 150 versus 30, so that this task right here, this task is about to go away. There's a 30, it's gone. Okay. Now we're looking at 120 versus 60. So this task right here, the 60-minute task, which is a meeting, is gone. All right, now that's gone. So that 30 must have been a split, the 60 is a meeting, and this is what's remaining of that. So let's scroll up here. So we got 66 minutes left, but we only have 60 minutes on the break, so we're going to see our break disappear right here. So the second element of that multi-dimensional array is going to go. It's going to be zeroed out. That's gone. Now we just got 90 minutes left. All right, and I'm pretty sure, let's see here. What we got? So we got 6 minutes left, and we got 90 here, so it's always going to be a task. So that 6 minutes is gone. Now the 5 minutes will be gone. Now the 14 minutes will be gone. Okay, here we go. And now the 23 minutes will be gone. Let me scroll this up a little bit here so we can get it into the window that's being recorded. All right, now let's see here. 30 minutes will be gone. We're only going to have 12 minutes left because that's all that's left. Okay. Now let's see here. Tasks are all gone. Our breaks are empty here. And that's it. I think it actually exited out of the loop. Statement 2, I should have probably hit F8 there. But everything is gone and emptied out. It worked exactly like it was designed. Of course, I mean, I've run through this a few times. But this is actually code that I wrote a while ago. It needed to be modified. You'll see inside the code there's things that need to be taken out because they're refactored. There's even, you might even see like variables here that I didn't talk about. And that they are being saved for the next episode. So thank you so much for watching, and until next time, take it easy.